o'clock, please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First on the agenda is to approve the minutes of November 25th as written. I'll move it. I'll second. Moved by McCurry, seconded by Meats. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. I believe that concludes our miscellaneous motions. Housing Authority, Ron Gilbert, you're up.
Fine, how guys?
Got some more pictures, didn't you?
Oh, of course, you guys gotta see what I get to see.
Got any crayons?
Well, it might help.
I got a blue one.
Well, this just looks like a little piece of rubber.
I'm gonna take 3 off of first. 3/4 of
You got some firewood. Built for the fireplace in there.
That ain't just firewood, that's an old elm tree.
I am requesting landfill fees to be waived for William DeWitt at 1001 Penobscot. He lives beside it in his trailer, and then this one, of course, you see the tree has fell down on it and everything. So Brad Pear and Mike Amendroth, I think, are going to take it and haul it off and stuff, or take it to the landfill. And eventually, probably a new house will be built there, as they've been cleaning that area up, as you know. So but it will be a vacant lot for a little while.
That's my district, so I so move.
I'll second that.
Moved by Huguenin, seconded by Thompson to waive landfill fees at 1001 Penobscot. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye. And that area out there is getting cleaned up pretty good.
Yeah.
It's looking nice.
It really is. So much
Yeah,
better.
super.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you guys.
Thank you. Take care. River City, you're up.
Morning.
Morning.
Not a lot visually going on. Some of the windows going in, they're going to try to have them wrapped up what's available by the end of the week, if not carrying over into next week. The roofers, they got the 2 little bump outs where the EPIS is. They're going to try to get those, or they should be getting those on this week, and that should wrap up the little bit of roofing they have left. And then they're starting the parapet capping this week. They'll have a majority of it on this week as well. That'd be the most of it exterior-wise. The steel guys are coming in. They've been, Polyjail, after setting the cells, started the wall panels. There's the steel wall panels behind pods E and F. They're three levels. They've set the 2 on both of those. The steel guys come in and brace behind those, and then they'll come in and set the top layer to finish those out. So they'll have, Polyjail will have another week, a little over a week to both of those after the steel guys are in to brace those off, and then waiting on some masonry to finish up, interior masonry to set that last set of steel wall panels in pod D where we wheel the cells in. Majority of the work going on has been rough end. The ductwork guys have moved down, split crews moved down to the booking and intake, and they're also working up on level 2. There's a lot going on level 2. The ceilings really changed in the past few weeks. Ductwork, pipe, plumbing, electrical, they've all got a good grasp on it. Hopefully should be in good shape to be finished, ready for inspection, and then moving down on level 1. We have today, as of today, started framing the soffits in where they come off the front of the cells. There's a little soffit that's over the mezzanine that the ductwork comes out in. They started those this morning, and then that'll allow us, once that's done, we'll be able to start installing the steel and then get the screens ordered. The cane screen is a long lead item, so that's a big push to get those ceilings complete or soffits complete so we can measure that up and get those ordered. It takes about 4 months to get those here, so we're in a big push. We're on time, on track for that, but that is one thing we've been keeping an eye on, just not delay those. Not what we want to do.
Okay.
But other than that, the masons are inside. They're working on. They're gonna finish up. Should be today. The pod or the wall between pods A and B, that angled wall, and then they're gonna start on the wall between B and C. And then after that one, it'll be a little over a week getting that. They'll get it up pretty majority of the way, and then the top few courses are pretty cut up, cutting around all the beams and all the joists. It's a pretty slow process, but then after that, they will be closing in where the cells came in and working their way out of the building. Hopefully, not too much more of them on site, besides a little bit of exterior.
All the pods are set, aren't they?
They are on site, yes. The last one where it ties into the wall, we have to lay that block up. It's in there, it's just rolled forward. But yes, they're all but the one are in place. That's about it. A lot of roughing, a lot of above ceiling, a lot of the end wall for the most part is done. They had it open, and the MEP guys were great about getting in there and staying busy. It's nice to not have jump on them to come back and do that work, because they took advantage of it being there.
Yeah. Very well, we'll get to see it at 11-ish.
Yes, sir.
Sounds like again.
Yeah, just let us know, or we'll be there ready for the tour.
I normally drive around it every week, and now that there's not much activity on the west side and there's not much activity on the south side, the jail looks to me like it's sitting in a hole about 12, 15 inches down.
From the
How
road,
the drainage, with the current roads, how's the drainage gonna be fixed to drain the water? You know, even between the two buildings, on the south side, that drops off pretty hard there.
there's a lot of area
Crawl
inlets.
space.
There's an area inlet in between, behind that retaining wall. There's one in place, and then there's trench drains that are gonna be installed. We left them out around the Sally Port just so we didn't tear them up driving over them with the lull and everything with the masonry. So that's one thing that's got to go on yet before the site concrete is that drain tile, the utility drains back there.
So like from the street, it'll kind of go like that, back up to the building, so it drains away from the building?
It'll drain away from the building. It's kind of interesting how it lays. You almost have to look at it, because
I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah,
it's hard.
I saw that when I drove through there.
and that's why
It shows up more than all the equipment, everything's off.
the Sally Port is higher than the actual building with 14, 16 inches. It's deceiving until you get back there, but it is kind of unfortunate. It'd be nice if the road was a little bit
Yeah,
lower.
you gotta be a little bit like the existing jail, what's there, you gotta match it somehow.
Right, yeah, we're tied to the two things. You kind of got to marry it together.
Yep.
And that was the reason for some of, which we got rid of a little bit of the grass back there to take advantage of the area and not have dead space, but there are some trench drains on either side of the Sally Port, keep water from running in, and then a drain system back there to keep that, because the road is higher.
Yeah, yeah.
I think the drain pipe that they're putting in there, is it 8 inch?
I'd have to look back and see.
If you ever get a tow strangler,
Right.
it could happen pretty quick if there isn't, and I'm sure the engineers got it figured out, but.
Yeah, I don't remember
There's a big
what
difference.
size it is, but yes, it is. It's,
It really shows up now that there's not
Right.
enough equipment.
when we were looking at it, it's been a little while ago, this is not, just making sure everything worked out with the coursework on the brick and the weeps and everything, and just figuring everything out, and it is deceiving just to look at, but the numbers, we had a lot of conversations with the civil guy on it, to make sure we were understanding what he had in his mind.
Did you ever understand what was in his mind?
Yes. We're all on the same page.
That's a tough question, Jeff.
All about
I beat them drawings, beat them drawings, that's how they detail back there, man.
You didn't find any details?
And then I went looking at it.
Yeah, it's all the numbers are on the civil plans, but I don't remember the page number. It took a little bit to find, some searching, the
But
way it,
I didn't spend a whole lot of time on it, I'm just like, man, how is this gonna work?
it is,
I got it figured out, I'm sure.
it does look bad when you're, cause it, you know, it's.
You're driving up here, and
Right,
down there.
right. But, no, it's, and the concrete would be able to kind of route the water a little bit as well.
Right.
Keep the drainage. Concrete guys got good faith in them, they haven't done us wrong so far. Been
Good deal.
great sub.
Awesome.
Perfect. We'll
Thank
see
you,
you
sir.
all this afternoon, or this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll have to wait till 9:15 for the public hearing of the Lake Region Solid Waste Plan. We've got some checks and balances.
Coach Wade's Michigan team fared well this weekend.
Wasn't expecting Michigan to hang with Ohio State.
I know it, man, I figured it was gonna be a total wipeout. You see that brawl after the game?
That was the best part of the game.
I didn't see it. I mean, as soon as that game was over, I went to another one. I saw it on the news this morning, I said, oh, my goodness.
Yeah, there's a lot of comments out there that Michigan players shouldn't have gone to the middle of the field to plant the flag. You go back and you watch the end of the Michigan-Texas game. Texas whipped up on Michigan, and Texas planted the flag at Michigan Stadium, and there was nothing happened.
Yeah.
So, and it has, either NCAA is gonna have to do something about it across the board, or if you lose, and you lose gracefully.
Yeah.
But,
Well, evidently you don't do that at Ohio State.
well, so if you look at Florida State, it happened there. There were several games over the weekend where fights erupted after the team went to plant the flag. And so it's a widespread issue that, you know, it's not a good thing for the game, especially when you have kids watching and they look up to these college players, and then it's gonna filter over into high school athletics, and it's not a good look.
Yeah, those
So it's a
people,
good game, though.
yeah, those people need to be representing what young people should want to grow up to be.
Well, both Michigan and Ohio State were fined $100,000 each by the Big Ten yesterday, or last night, that's what I saw. But,
100,000 means chump change.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for them.
I'm surprised they fined as much as $100,000.
They do, each school.
but there will have to be accountability to the players, because they're the ones who go out and they act and represent the schools, but.
Exactly. Okay. Okay, there you go.
Got a busy day for us today, Wade?
I don't.
You do?
These will hold the other one.
How's the sheriff? Hi, Sheriff.
Happy birthday, old man.
It's your birthday?
Yesterday, wasn't it?
Yesterday?
Eric's is today.
Huh. 39 and home?
What happened last year? Counting after last year.
We should move to close public comment. Motion, making
No
no
motion.
no motion for public comment. There's no, yeah. Okay. 9:15. Move to enter into a public hearing at 9:15 for the purpose of hearing any objections to the, expansion of the 2024 solid waste management plan.
So moved.
That's right,
Second.
solid waste management plan, yes. What time are you going?
9:15.
We're asking for rejection.
Moved by Huguet and seconded by Meeks. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion passes. Okay. Shay, you got anything to add to the public hearing?
No, I was just, I apologize, I've never had a chance to come up here before. In our region, we have multiple that all seem to have their commission meetings at the same time. And since Todd and Ryan are always good representatives, and I don't usually have to do very much over here, I've never had a chance to come up before, but it's a pleasure to finally meet you, put some faces and names together, and thank you for your support.
Thanks for being present.
Yeah, thank you.
Are there any public comments? Let the record show, no public comments. The only change to the original management plan was they added Shawnee County to the, I guess you call it the district, wouldn't you?
The authority.
The
yeah.
authority, so, move to close public comments, did I already say that?
Move to close public hearing.
Oh,
Todd, you got anything?
No, I don't have anything to add to it.
motion to close public hearing at 9:17.
I'll move.
Second. Moved by Thompson, seconded by me, or by McCurry. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
There is a resolution that needs to be signed.
Do I need to put a number on it?
Yes.
Okay.
We
Okay,
need
who
to do
seconded
that.
on that?
McCurry did.
Yep.
We need to make a motion to.
No, hold on.
We don't.
We're not gonna do that. We don't need to re-approve the management plan then? They just need to approve the resolution?
Just the resolution's fine, that's what I'll submit to the state to show that it's
Okay.
approval.
Let me fix that. Let me get the number for you, and then I'll write it in there.
Do we need to know the number for the motion?
Yes. Let me get that here. Oh, gosh, what's the wrong thing?
Take your time, we got plenty of time.
I know, I start to panic.
Don't panic. We got till 9:30, we're good.
Okay, so it'll be 2024, 9:42.
I won't write it in there, but I'll.
Yeah, and then just say, move to approve it, and read that.
Okay. Motion to approve resolution number 2024-942, a resolution adopting Lake Region Solid Waste Management Plan. I'll move. I'll second. Moved by McCurry, seconded by Knight. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Said we all sign, right?
Yep.
You seconded too?
He moved, I
Oh, you
seconded. Have to start wearing gloves over the last time, don't you?
You don't know what I can anymore.
You've been in a fight with a tiger.
I was carrying that laundry basket up the steps. I grabbed some stuff off the shelf down there for storage, some soups.
Mm-hmm.
I put them in the back of the basket, so when I picked it up, it leaned like that, and I had my hand in there.
Palm of you.
Is where you need to sign that?
wait.
No?
No, you
Okay.
don't.
Okay. Sometimes he does that.
Yeah, I don't see a spot on there. And then I think you have to put that seal on there.
Yeah.
Sign, seal, delivered.
You want to take a copy for your own records, right?
Yes. Thank you.
Don't let me walk away with that.
No.
Or you're welcome to keep the original if you want to just give me a copy, that's fine too.
Okay, I might do that if that's okay. Okay. Should I put today's date on this one?
It's on there? Yeah, because it would be the day that you're reviewing it for the hearing. Yes.
Today's date also. Okay.
Commissioners, yeah, this would be.
Okay. Thank you.
Any news from Barb on?
Thank you all.
Thank you, Todd.
Take care.
Project?
Thought we were still waiting on one bid.
Okay. That's fine.
I can double check. I know we received one and we're waiting on one.
Okay.
Yeah. Got decent weather coming. It's nice to get something done.
Yeah, they don't have anything forecast for the next 10 days.
Since there's nothing out there.
Except for cold.
Except for cold, which may affect.
Get up in the upper 40s, low 50s.
Yeah.
A few days
Yeah.
or so.
It's not terrible. It's,
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Stick around in here for a while.
I can, yes.
We'll see you.
See ya.
Thank you.
on Melissa.
Yes, sir, how are you?
Good, you?
Good.
We're running ahead of schedule.
Does that mean you're ready for me
You're
already?
right on time. We'll wait till Nancy gets back here, but
Okay,
you can catch your breath.
just in time.
I don't know. Not yet. One more.
One more. Sorry, we're out of ink.
Right in blood.
Yeah, I do that. Do that plenty.
All the time.
All right, we'll start our 9:30. Empower House Ministries, Melissa Landis, your turn.
All right. Well, I'm Melissa Landis, in case y'all didn't know. I'm with Empower House, and just coming back to give you an update on how things are going. Pass those around. More coming. Hopefully I printed enough. If not, we'll find out. Okay, so this morning I just want to give you some updates. I'm going to start with, on page 3, some of the statistics, just kind of reviewing the people that we serve. Everybody get one? Awesome. Page 3, you'll see that they've got an average age of 35, and that's actually going up. Right now, our current team is sitting at about 44 years of age. So they are ranging anywhere from 20 to 60 in the house. Most of them have children, as you can see from the graphic. They're not employed. There's some serious issues with employment. Most of them, when they come in, have not worked in the last year, which explains why their average income is in the range of about $3,600 in the previous 12 months. Page 4, you'll see about a third of them are truly homeless, meaning sleeping on the streets, or in a vehicle someplace they're not supposed to be sleeping. About a third, roughly speaking, are precariously housed, which means in English they are sleeping on somebody's couch and they don't know where they're sleeping from night to night. Mental health, you'll see that 75% of them have mental health issues. So I'm pretty accustomed to PTSD, a lot of PTSD actually, a lot more. It surprises me how much PTSD there is.
Is that an increase?
It is, yeah, and it's, looks like when I get my numbers at the end of the year, it's probably closer to 84%.
Wow.
So, PTSD, anxiety, depression, but also schizophrenic, bipolar. And so for that, we're making sure that they're getting that addressed with local treatment providers. But it's got to be, relatively speaking, under control in order to be considered for residency. And then there's some statistics there on the bottom, which has to do with our females. 52% of them are domestic violence victims. 15% are traumatic brain injuries, and that number is actually coming down. Part of the reason for that is because we're working harder to make sure they get to a place that specializes in that as well. Human trafficking, in the past, our numbers have been as high as 16%. That number is actually coming down for us because there's some excellent facilities, Manhattan, Kansas City, and Wichita, that specialize in human trafficking. So our numbers are coming down simply because we're putting them in a better spot where they need to be. Page 5 is what fascinates me the most, and it is their criminal history. So as you can see from the graphic, over half of them, roughly speaking, half of them have 3 or more felonies. My average on the ladies' side is 3 felonies per person. On the men's side, it is 4 felonies per person. Okay, and oftentimes what we'll find is they are still on probation coming out of those counties. I've got a female at the house right now that has active cases in 5 different counties. Okay, so I get to attend a lot of court dates to let the courts know what their progress is and how they're doing. If you look at page 6, am I going too fast? Okay, there's just a lot of data here. Page 6 really tells you what their supervision level is. 71% of them are on probation, so that's going to be a misdemeanor. So if I were to get in trouble today for a misdemeanor, I'm going to go on probation. So 71% are on probation. Corrections, you'll see 59% of them are on community corrections, which is generally going to be for a felony. And then you'll see that 22% of them are actually on drug court. I think when we get to the end of our numbers for this year, that drug court percentage is going to be higher. Right now, I've got 17 in housing, and I have 9 of them that are on local drug court programs.
What's the drugs?
Drug of choice is generally meth, but I'm seeing quite a bit more alcohol than what I used to.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Easily retained.
Probably a third are, not that I'm trying to categorize people, but a third of them are alcoholics by nature, and 2/3 are addicts. Right now, there's a lot of crossover.
Right.
But at least a third of them would classify alcohol as their drug of choice. So, which, by the way, is a little bit more unique, and it's a lot more challenging on the alcohol side than it is on the drug side. And the reason why is because alcohol's everywhere.
Oh.
Right? I mean, when you go home for Thanksgiving, if they've gone home, there's probably alcohol in the house. And people are probably drinking at Thanksgiving. So alcohol tends to be, in some respects, a little more challenging. So the one drug that I have the most problems with on a personal level is K2, because you can't really test for it. Theoretically, you can, but you're testing for last year's strain of K2. The drug manufacturers are a step ahead. And so when you test today, you're really testing for last year's formula.
I'm
K2.
K2, what's that?
Synthetic marijuana.
Oh, okay.
And it sounds harmless, doesn't it? I mean, relatively speaking, based on the other drugs I see, it is not. That's, like, my daughter's an addict, and she'll tell you that's the one drug that she's the most scared of, is K2. So, anyway.
Over the real stuff?
Mm-hmm.
And why is that? Is it just more a stronger dose, or?
It's not as predictable, right? K2 hits on the same brain sensors as what traditional marijuana does, but it's basically a mixture of chemicals, and it's not as predictable. A lot more delusions that come with that, and occasionally violent behavior. So it's not as predictable, but that's the one that my daughter is the most scared of, is K2.
You don't typically see violence with marijuana.
Correct.
You know.
Correct, and that's why I say it sounds...
So that would be from the chemical side, probably.
The chemical side,
Right.
so...
It's really kind of almost should be named that or associated with.
But it's hitting the
marijuana.
same brain sensors as regular marijuana. Okay? And then you'll see parole-wise, most of our folks are not on parole, only about 6% on parole. So, but oftentimes they are under probation or supervision from 2, 3, 4 different counties. And oftentimes what happens is their originating county will keep that supervision, but it's essentially farmed out to Lyon County for supervision. There are times that the officer will actually transfer it, which means they're permanently on probation in Lyon County. Core service area, page 6, just kind of continue to grow a little bit in the counties that we are serving. Right now, at this time, I am seeing a lot, and it's trends, right? I see a lot coming out of Osage County, and I've got quite a few coming out of Franklin County right now. So, Coffee County is down, which may be a good news, but right now, a lot coming out of Franklin and Osage. Page 7 is just kind of an intro to our women's program. That graphic on the right is something that we've worked really hard on, not just the graphic, but making sure that what our programs are doing is they're working. And what I want you to see is our programs are truly holistic. It's not just about no longer using drugs. It's about getting life together so that you can become self-sufficient. So what we've done on that as far as one of our recent changes is they are now meeting with our house leader weekly to talk through what that progress is and where they're at, and then that tapers down to monthly. So we've divided our program into 4 phases. So in order to get privileges, they've got to advance to the next phase. So as an example, to get off of phase 1, which means they are on the buddy system, they can't leave unless they're going to a required appointment. They're going to go to Walmart, they have to bring a buddy with them until they have a job, which means they've got to hit all their other benchmarks too. Okay, so that's something we've worked hard on. 8's just interior photos of the house. As you can see, it's just a normal house. Page 9 focuses in on our men's program. Our women's program has been up for almost 3 years. On February 1, it'll be 3 years. Men's program has now been up and running for a year. I have a capacity there for 10 gentlemen. Right now at this moment, I have 9. Number 10 comes on Friday if he can give me the clean time that I want. So that house typically has a wait list for interviews is somewhere between 5 and 9. Right now I've got a couple, probably 2 or 3. But it is essentially full all the time, or all the beds are promised out, one of the 2. Next page has some graphics there on life skill clinics. We're coming together once a month. This is open to anybody that wants to come, whether they're a resident, a former resident, potential resident, or just somebody referred by another agency. But we're really coming together to build the skills that we need. Often that includes budgeting, credit, relationships, pretty broad mix. And then, so I brought some ideas on what we've really done since the last time I was here, which has been about 6 months. And I really came up with 3 things that we've really been working hard on. Number 1 is drug testing. We have mouth swabs available. We have, and I don't know if you noticed, I'm female, and that's kind of a problem in a men's house when I'm trying to do a UA in a men's house, right? So we have UAs available, we have mouth swabs available, and I've got a breathalyzer coming next week. So we're really stepped up that plan. And then we've worked hard on the goal planning, which is really walking them through step by step what they got to do to get on track. And then lastly, I've got a new program that starts to roll out probably next week. And it's kind of in an experimental phase, obviously, but really what we're doing is we're making 1 man and 1 woman from the house the monthly house lead. So there will be a December lead, a January lead. And what we're doing there, this is what I think is really kind of neat, is when you go back and you look at their history and where they've been, they've probably never had an opportunity to do any form of leadership. And so this gives them the opportunity to experience leadership. And so with that, we're working on a little mini training program to teach them what leadership is. So as an example, I talked to one of my guys, I said, this is what I'm working on, and he said, oh, I'd love to go in there and bash some heads. I said, wait a minute, that's not leadership, right? That's dictatorship. So teaching them some of those skills and giving them an opportunity to serve in that way. To date, we have served a total of 140 individuals. I've had 76 women through our doors in 3 years, 35 men in a little over a year, plus 29 others that have attended clinics. So total service is 140. And obviously, their short-term goal is just to make it through another day clean and sober while they start to look towards their future. On a personal level, I just wanted to share a couple of stories so that y'all can see the impact. I think of a young lady that came to us that had 3 or 4 different cases. She had signed a plea deal, and that plea deal included 15 years prison time. She came to us, now has about 2.5 years clean and sober, and did not have to serve her prison time and is actually walking with others through recovery. I think of another young lady that came to us. I shouldn't say young, she's probably a couple years younger than me, maybe 2 or 3 years younger than me. Spent half of her adult life in prison. And that young lady just graduated from drug court, which means she's got 18 months clean and sober under her belt. And now, she's an assistant manager with one of the local restaurants, right? The cool thing about her was to watch the personality shift. This is a tough cookie with a hard edge. And she softened. And same person, but she softened. And it was really just good to see that personal change in her as she realized she didn't have to be on defense all the time. I think of another young man that was only with us for a short time, probably 6-8 weeks. But it was enough time that he's now back down in Wichita raising his 5 children. So there's a lot going on there. But when we look at success and we say, how do we define success, we can do numbers and charts and graphs. But really, success is defined by one individual at a time making those massive life changes. So as we look ahead into next year, let me tell you some of the things on our horizon. Number 1, our monthly house lead, which we talked about. Number 2, I've got a grant writer selected for next year. I can do grants, I can write them, but I'm short on time. So we've got somebody that'll be dedicated to writing grants as we need them, and really focusing in on building out that team so that there's more of us to do the work. So next page is just kind of a little graphic on what Empower House does. As you can see, it brings them from addiction and turmoil and instability to stability and hope and ultimately recovery. Bottom of page 11, each year we should be serving about 24 females, 24 men, and plus 24 others that are coming to clinic. So 72 a year, give or take, should be our service population. And then last page, I've included our board of directors just for your reference. Okay, I took a breath.
So you're talking about the young lady you mentioned that's been 1.5 years clean.
Mm-hmm.
What stages do the percentages of success really start to increase? Like I mean, 6 months, or is a year a really big threshold to make? I mean, when do you see the odds of it being a permanent?
50 days. What I've noticed is when I went through and I looked at statistics, those that were with us for 50 days or less have about a 1/3 success rate. When we say success, we're talking about the absence of drugs, right? You can't quantify all of those other pieces, but the absence of drugs.
Right.
Those that are over 50 days have about a 2/3 success rate. When they come to us, we're going to tell them our minimum length of stay is 90 days, period. And they could be there for up to 18 months. Recently, a young lady, which I didn't talk about earlier, at 90 days, we pushed her out of the nest. She was ready. Had no idea that she was ready, but she was really ready. Got into her own place. I did a message at church and was supposed to be there that Sunday morning to speak to the church, and she couldn't because she had her grandchildren down for the weekend. Right, and that's just the blessing, is to see that. So.
Do they have family that they can reach out to, and, I mean, or are they just alone in the world?
In so many ways, they're alone in the world. One thing that I have found absolutely fascinating, by the way, this is related, is the difference between my young ladies and my young men. When you look at the young ladies, often you see fathers were absent, and they need structure and rules. When you look at my young men, I'm not trying to sound judgmental when I say this, okay? Either A, they didn't have a mom, or B, mom had a drug problem and probably wasn't a quality mom. And like I said, I'm not trying to sound judgmental. And so my young men need a lot more nurturing. They need that softness, and my women across the board need a little more stern.
Wait on.
Huh?
That seems opposite, that's a bit.
I know, but that's just, there is a huge difference between the men and the women. It's just been fascinating to watch how that works.
These 140 people that you look after so far, do you follow up with them in a month, 2 months, 3 months to see if they need to be brought back in? Or what, how much is follow-up?
Well, and let's talk about bringing them back in. Kind of our policy is I'll let somebody come twice, right, depending on what that situation was. But very, very, very rarely will I allow them to come back a third time. Because if it didn't work the first time and it didn't work the second time, probably isn't going to work the third time. Now, I will get them hooked up with where they need to be. As far as follow-up, like this morning, I received text messages from a young lady that lived with us for 12, 15 months, and she's been out of her house for almost a year and a half, 2 years, and she's texting me this morning. So there is follow-up. I'm always available. House leader's also available. It's been interesting to see how some bond with her better than they bond with me, and vice versa. So between the two of us, we're always available.
You mentioned grant money a while ago,
Mm-hmm.
Melissa. Are you considering the third house? Because you got 2 houses now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that grant money, are you looking at the third house?
Grant money could be a third house. That'd be a board decision, and I don't know that I'm yet ready for a third house, right? That's why I got to focus on that team building so that I can get some extra hands in there.
Second house, have you had your second house for a year? You haven't had your
Men's house is
right out of here.
right out of year. It
Yeah,
opened November 1.
Then probably a year.
And the funding on that, a lot of that came from Kansas Fights Addiction, which was $200,000. It was slightly less than $94,000 down payment on the house, so we purchased that house. Women's house is rented. And it also allowed us to purchase a transportation van, which then meant we had to bring in some pretty stringent policies so they weren't running from A to B constantly. And then operations-wise, my goal, the novel goal, right, is to get us to that place where incoming rent pays for operations. Truthfully, I don't know that I'm ever going to get there. I can get there on paper when I look at it, but I don't know that I'm going to get there. I think there's so many different expenses associated with these folks. Right, I've got one right now that needs medical supplies. He's got a medical condition, needs medical supplies. Like, get that transferred, I'll take care of it, or Empower House will take care of it. And they're legitimately needed. Same thing for mental health meds. I don't care what somebody's financial situation is, they need help with mental health meds, we're going to take care of that.
Gotta come first.
Yeah, and so, often they come in, and I've got some pretty good contacts now, but they may come in out of jail and literally have nothing but what they are wearing, which probably doesn't fit anymore anyway, right? And so we'll get them hooked up with everything that they need. I've got some pretty good local resources, so I can go get them the clothes that they need. But, underwear and socks. I had a gentleman 2 weeks ago, somebody came to me and said, hey, are you aware that guy's only got one pair of shoes, and it was sandals, with a pair of socks? I'm like, yeah, we're going to take care of that. Took him out to Walmart and got him a pair of shoes. So they're expensive.
So to staff a house, how many folks does it take to staff a house?
That'd be me and my house leader. And my house leader's one that came up through the ranks, so she does really, really well. We are a totally different style. Kind of surprises me to say this, but I'm very motherly and soft, and she's got that hard edge. So there are times I call her and I go, can I borrow your backbone for the day? And vice versa, right?
Imagine.
Yeah, I've been through some interesting situations. things that, I just never thought I would see. But I also know this. I also know that I was made for this. I'm equipped for this. I mean, God put me right where He wanted me to be. Which means sometimes it's that hard edge, right? This is what we're going to do, and this is why, and don't even bother to question it. But other times it's that soft side. So, and they need a mix of both. I think that's why my house leader and I work so well together, is she's got that hard, tough, always tough edge. And suddenly I'm finding myself a little softer than what I used to be. So it's been fascinating. But this is what gets me out of bed in the morning, in case you can't tell. And it is incredibly difficult. It is incredibly challenging. But ironically, I find when I am at my worst, these are also the same people that lift me up. I have learned so much from them about what grit and determination is. And so it sounds strange, but in many ways, these are my heroes, right? Because they are doing it. They are getting up every day, fighting that battle.
I admire you for what you're doing, Melissa. It's a position that I wouldn't want to be doing.
You might be surprised. Come visit us. I'll put you to work.
That's what I'm afraid of.
And there's so many things that need to be done. In so many ways, these folks need those relationships. So, and the interesting part is, I mean, on one hand, we look at addicts and we go, well, they're out here doing this thing, and yet I look at myself and I know I'm not an addict, but I've got things I'm still working on, just like they do.
Yeah.
So, it's actually been very humbling for me to be around addicts, because those are the people that really have that grit and determination and are getting up and walking it and doing it every day. So,
Couple questions.
yes, sir.
Just since I deal with it in the courtroom, we don't, as you said, there's not many Coffee County cases right now.
Mm-hmm.
And the ones that I could think of were originally bond supervision cases.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a distinction between cases that are active going through pre-adjudication in either Coffee County, Osage County, Franklin County, any other county other than Lyon County, and then those post-adjudication where probation would likely be transferred into Lyon County. If it's a drug case, then my understanding is they're required to participate in drug court. Is that right? I know that's how it is in some other jurisdictions.
Two things that happen on drug court. One of my guys just went through this. They put him on community corrections for, I think, 18 months, and said he needed to get assessed or evaluated, I forget the exact term, for drug court. And they actually did the assessment and decided he did not do the drug court. Others end up on community corrections, and it may not even be a drug charge, right? They end up on community corrections. They're taking UAs, right? All of getting treatment, all of those things is required by community corrections, but they need additional resources. Like one of my guys is actually out of Franklin County, had not messed up, had not had a dirty UA, but they elevated him to drug court because they felt like he could use those extra resources and the extra supervision. Does that answer your question?
Yep. So,
and they do come in on bond supervision. I do have, and this may be of note for you, I have quite a few coming out of Osage County. Osage County tends to do a lot more furlough than the other counties. So, and I kind of almost like some of the furloughs, because as an example, I had a gentleman out of Osage that was on furlough, which means he's technically in the custody of the jail, even though he's residing with us. And this gentleman messed up big time, right? And so I was able to make a phone call to the jail and go, we're done, when can we get him back to the jail? So furloughs make it easily revocable, quick and easy, as opposed to on supervision, then you have to go through that revocation process.
is there a correlation to those who participate in drug court and how they succeed and those who don't, because the supervision level and structure is quite a bit different than your regular community corrections or probation? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Then where I was wanting to go with the first part of the question was, do you have any statistics related to at least Coffee County cases that tied to this program? Because I know you have, your map covers a number of different counties. So for Coffee County, and in my opinion, for this board to contribute funding and to continue contributing funding, the tie to Coffee County and its residents, and even more importantly, probably the surrounding judicial district that Coffee County is in, which would be the 4th Judicial District.
Right. To answer your question, I think of a young lady that was a registered drug offender here in Coffee County. Came to us, ultimately moved out, is now on drug court. And so it's like, do we call that a success? Because she's still clean and sober, but she's no longer part of our program. And I forget the exact circumstances, but she was kicked out of our program. So let me put together some numbers. And my data's probably going to be pretty limited, but I will put together some numbers. I've got your email.
Okay.
You ever thought of mentoring? Do you have people doing any mentoring, or is that just throwing somebody else in to undo something that you're trying to do? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Okay, all of our people are going to be engaged in drug and alcohol treatment. With that, they will have a peer mentor available on the addiction therapy side.
Oh, okay.
All of them are required to attend at least 3 12-step meetings, so Narcotics Anonymous, Alcoholics Anonymous. In order to progress into phase 3, they are required to have a sponsor, which is that mentor. Some of the things that we've brainstormed that might be some options for the future is, you know, if you've got a female with children in particular, and she cannot reside with us because we don't have children, is there a way that we can offer our structured goal setting through a mentor-type relationship, even though she's not part of our housing program? So there may be some other options there, and I think all of them would tell you our house leader is a mentor for all of them, too. So surrounding them with all the people that they need to be successful. Good question.
But the house leader's also trying to get themselves better as well, and not having to deal with the others is good and bad.
Right.
For the house.
Right. Our house leader has 2 years clean and sober, so she's got that clean time, and you do have to run a balance of self-care in the mix of all of that. I'll testify about self-care any day of the week, right? I take some pretty good time off. I need it. And so she would testify in the same thing. She does a lot of mentoring, and you know the old adage of once an addict, always an addict, right? And we've got to always be on guard of that slippage, and it's easy to do. Any other questions? I've taken up a lot more time than I anticipated.
That's all good information. It's all helping.
It's interesting to listen to you and what you go through. So.
I've been through some scenarios that I just walk away and I go, I didn't see that coming, and then I also walk away and I think, handled that one pretty well. Must not have been my words coming out of my mouth, and how do you possibly prepare for some of those incredibly bizarre situations. So, anything else?
Well, it's, I've got a key person that works in my office, has been clean for 15 years, and just the comment you made about once an addict, always an addict, he's chose to be on the other side of it. When it comes noon, he brings his own lunch,
Yep.
closes his door, counsels people that he's sponsoring.
Yep.
That's how he spends his lunch hours, on the conferences with them. And but we were interviewing another person, and this guy was to be a driver, and this guy was being honest. He said, "Well, I had a drug problem." And I said, "Well, this man does too." I said, "He used to be an alcoholic and a drug addict, and after this guy left, he said, something I need to correct you on. I'll always be an addict, but I'm recovering, and I'm at this stage, I'm okay." But I've learned a lot about it from that. I mean, I've known this guy my whole life, and watching him go through what he went through, I just feel all these programs compared to spending our money with Tom and Wade and the rest of our services are so worth the money if we can get people back on track.
Right, and that's what it's about. And I've watched the courts, just give grace to people sometimes that you look at and go, there's no way. And they give them grace and enough room to hang themselves or succeed, one of the two.
Right.
So,
Some of them have to get low enough to where there's just nothing left though before they finally
yeah, and that
decide to make that change.
that hitting bottom is really hard to watch. I walked with a young man, kicked him out of the house. He was drinking. Drank on Monday, drank on Wednesday. I'm done. You gotta go. And was drunk for about 6 days. And I followed him all the way to the bottom. He had somebody he could contact at any time, and you know he's now got back on track. He's not going to be part of Empower House because of his. I can't have that in the house. But is got about almost 3-4 weeks under his belt, something like that.
Good.
And so that's a lot of it is, you know, you asked about family, and they don't have that family support. Families are tired. I was there with my own kid, right? I'm watching her go through addiction and panicking and not knowing what to do and what to say and how far to help and how far not to help. Families are exhausted. And so sometimes they need to step back from family, get some recovery under their belt, show their family that they know what they're doing and this is going to be okay. And sometimes you'll see those families come back, if you will. So it's hard to watch. But there's also some pretty good Hebrews out there that are doing it.
Yep.
So I'll be back in May-ish to give you another update. If y'all ever have any questions, you can let me know. And particularly you, sir. If you got any questions, let me know, and I'll get you an email. Okay?
Thank you, Melissa.
All right, thank y'all.
Thank you. Take a break. Take a 10-minute break until 10:07.
Give Ryan a call, see if he,
Make sure Tom's,
I think he was trying to say.
uh,
Yeah, he's tracking time pretty.
well, I just didn't want to get down in the bathroom.
Yeah, right.
he's walking pretty good.
He's doing good, but he's still weak.
That's kind of big with it. Years. Right.
Boy, that'll curse yourself. I'm with that.
He's got a full plate there.
Yeah.
We won't shut it off.
Okay. That'll be okay.
We got plenty of time.
Sounds good.
Takes a long time.
All right, it's 10:07, we're back. A little earlier than 10:30.
Yeah, I seen there wasn't anything on the agenda, so.
Decided to come up earlier.
Yeah.
Well, just come on up. We'll just start working through your 85 motions.
Don't have 85, but got a few. Everybody have a good Thanksgiving?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And me too.
Good.
Me too, ate well, so
Yeah.
I try to lose it before Christmas meal hits.
Or you get a rewrap.
No call outs this weekend, so the snow missed us. It looked like up north, I don't know, they had 3 to 5 inches there around Topeka, so
Yeah.
glad we didn't get that, but won't be long. I'm sure we'll have some of that. Got a few motions, a couple for new hires. The first one I have is CP2 for our, Becky Stutzman was our new office coordinator in the office.
Motion to review and approve CP2 payroll notice for Vicky Stutzman, office coordinator, highway, new hire, wage classification 35-01 with a wage of 20.38, effective 12/2/24.
I'll move.
I'll second. Moved by Thompson, seconded by McCurry. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Alright, thank you. Next, another new hire. This would be for an equipment operator on the asphalt crew. Do CP2 for Jeff Byer. So, you know, that name's familiar. He decided he wants to work some more here, so.
Has he been retired this whole time?
He was working for the co-op.
Oh, was he?
He'd been working for the co-op and just decided he wanted to change. So on that, we'd be looking at bringing him in at a step 3. That's due to having a CDL and equipment experience. So just consistent with how we bring everybody else in with that experience.
I wonder if it was the same.
Same Jeff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Motion to review and approve CP2 payroll notice for Jeff Byer, heavy equipment operator. Highway, new hire, wage classification 35-3 with the wage of $21.05, effective 12/2/24.
I'll so move. Second.
Moved by Meach, seconded by Huguenin. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion.
Welcome back, Jeff.
Yeah. It was nice to get experience, so.
He's got a lot of it, doesn't he?
Yes, sir. Next, be a motion, be for a pickup. So I know here a while back, we bid out, a couple times actually, bid a pickup, and we sent out information to surrounding dealerships, and the only bids we got back was from here in town. Those bids didn't quite meet the specs that we were looking at, have some problems with kind of the color, the blue that we like. I know Adam had some discussion with you guys on waiving the bidding process just due to the bids that we're getting. After talking with other counties, they kind of do the same thing. They just find a dealership to deal with because the pricing's the same no matter where you go. And so this truck here is one that we sat down with Ford and kind of went through the specs again. And it's going to be white instead of blue. One big difference. So.
Move based upon recommendations, Road and Bridge Superintendent to waive purchasing policy as to competitive bidding for good cause to Crow Monty Ford for one 2025 Chevy 1500 Silverado to the purchase price of $53,760, and authorize Director Road and Bridge Superintendent to sign all documents related thereto. Funding for the purchase will come from the general fund equipment line item.
I'll move.
I'll second. Moved by McCurry, seconded by Knight. Any discussion?
Was there a trade-in or anything, Ryan, on that, or?
Not to trade in. We do have a few trucks that we'll need to get rid of. Probably online auction.
I was just curious.
Yeah, we've got a couple junk vehicles that. Yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
Couple of junk vehicles that we will be getting rid of here for long.
Right.
Any more discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye, motion passes.
Alright, thank you. The next one, this would be a motion for, looking for purchase of side-by-side, throughout the landfill. You know, I know when we went through our budget earlier this year, I kinda expressed the needs that we have for one out there, just to reiterate some of that. You know, we got 116 acres that we manage out there at the landfill. There's a lot of inspection stuff dealing with gas and water wells that we have weekly inspections on, stuff dealing with our SWIFT, and so, you know, the pickup can't get around everywhere out there. So we've been talking about this for a couple of years, just the need for a side-by-side out there. Our plans are we're going to replace one of the pickups out there with a side-by-side. We've got a pickup that's essentially on this last leg. You know, I know next year we got to do a bunch of maintenance work on our perimeter fence, and so it just many uses as we should have out there.
Based upon the recommendation of the Road and Bridge Superintendent to waive the purchasing policy and competitive bidding for good cause, said cause being municipal program pricing with Sourcewell Government Purchasing Alliance with Coffee County, number 118463, and to approve the purchase of one 2025 Polaris Ranger North Star XP 1000 with Express Tire and Auto LLC in Emporia, Kansas, quote number 2109, in the amount of $25,524. And to authorize direct the Road and Bridge Superintendent to sign all documents related thereto. Funding for the purchase will come from General Fund Landfill Equipment line item.
Also move.
I'll second.
Moved by Meeks, seconded by McCurry. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
Thank you. The last motion I have, this would be, we talked about the bridge replacement down, east of Leroy there, and we've been dealing with the state. You know, they're gonna have that road shut down. They'll have an official, detour using state highways. You know, we have an understanding with them. We know that our roads, some of our roads are gonna be catching more traffic and get pounded more. So, we've come up with an unofficial detour and kind of how we're going to focus the traffic on some asphalt and then on a few miles of gravel. So part of agreement with the state is some reimbursement costs, basically for the unofficial detour. You know, so included in that is going to be for 4 miles of gravel, 4,500 tons of rock, and 4 miles of dust control for the gravel. And then there's some money available for asphalt repair. You know, it's all as needed, if needed. But basically the cap on that is $208,000. You know, as we start using stuff, we'll send it to them for reimbursement. I don't anticipate we'll need near that amount for asphalt, but I mean it's there just in case.
So the 208,000 is part of the rock and the asphalt and the dust control?
Yes, the 208,000. Yes, that's what it is. So basically, there's $60,000 worth of aggregate cost for the 4,500 tons. And then there's another $40,000 worth of dust control. So we're going to rock that 4 miles, put the dust control down prior to that project starting, and then the remaining $110,000 will just be as needed, you know, for patching.
And that's derived from the state, is that right, Brian? That money is.
Yes, yeah, that's through the state.
That's what you.
Yeah, and so basically, you know, they've got an agreement here, for us to sign to enter into that with them.
Our motion reads west of Leroy, it's actually east of Leroy.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, east.
That 4 miles of rock, where's that 4 miles gonna be at?
8th Road between Shetland and Wayside. So when we sign this detour, that's, you know, for vehicle traffic, that's where we're going to try to push vehicle traffic. We're going to try to keep truck traffic on the asphalt. You know, I know once this gets started, you know, there's going to be a little bit of confusion just until people get accustomed to how we need traffic to go. You know, we've talked about, you know, why 8th Road and not some of the other roads. Well, just due to the safety. Some of the other intersections close to Leroy, and, you know, basically the train route, train tracks, and 8th Road is the first crossing with arms on it. So that's, you know, that's where our detour needs to go, just safety side of it. So
the asphalt would be Ellisville up to 12th. And
yeah,
then
up to
across,
12th, and then
back
actually we'll try to keep them on 12th clear into 75. Now there'll be traffic that needs to go south on Shetland.
right.
Yeah, we realize that, but we're trying to keep from avoiding as much two-way traffic in Leroy there as we can, just because the road's so stinking narrow and
Be tight.
yeah. So I mean,
How are we gonna handle between, we've talked about this before, between Shetland and Trefoil on 5th Road? You know, 2 cars can't even meet on that road.
well, I mean, as far as you talking for
Safety of that road is no good at all.
yeah, I mean, I think if you measure that road, Don, it's pretty similar to a lot of our other roads, but for the amount of traffic we're talking here, I mean, that's why we didn't route traffic down through there. That's why we're pushing them up to 8th Road, because that's a road that's 20+ plus feet wide.
Yeah.
It's wider than that road is.
That road there, that fifth road between those two, there's no base under that on the edges out
Yeah.
there, so, you know, right there at Shetland and Fifth Corner, got that cedar row there. Can we visit with him and see if we can take down 50, 60 feet?
Just for
You
the
know, when they're
visibility
coming up-
of it, or
I'm sorry?
for the visibility of the
Yeah,
intersection,
yeah.
or?
That visibility is no good there.
Yeah,
And you're actually coming up a little bit of an incline
yeah.
to get on Shetland, and visibility there is not good at all.
Yep, no, we can take a look at that.
I'd like for you to take a
It's
look.
probably, I mean, I know, last year we evaluated all the intersections in the county as far as for clearing trees, and we spent a lot of time last winter clearing brush at a lot of those intersections. And I think that one's on our list now to look at.
I know Bill's got a horse or two in there occasionally, maybe all the time, I'm not sure,
Yeah.
so it's a good windbreak for him, but
Well, that's a controlled intersection with a stop sign, so I mean, it could be minimal what we need to do there to open that up, just at that point a little bit.
A little more vision, maybe.
Yeah.
looking to the south, there's not much room there to look.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Based on the recommendations of Road and Bridge Superintendent to accept the Kansas Department of Transportation unofficial detour route for state bridge replacement located on 58 Highway approximately 3/4 mile east of Leroy, and sign the agreement for the unofficial detour route with the maximum amount not to exceed $208,016.
So moved.
Second that.
Moved by Hughton, seconded by Thompson. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. That is the motions I had for today. Bid openings for 75 turn lanes will be Wednesday afternoon this week, I believe.
Everybody's got something.
Yeah, I believe so. This will be the third week, so.
Just sign underneath me, on down through there.
For some reason, I thought it was the ninth, but
I
I've seen so many projects. I'm
Okay,
probably-
maybe that is next Wednesday.
Take the third publications this week.
Okay. Be next week then?
Just can't wait to get it done.
So, I don't, you guys have any?
Thanks for cleaning up that tree on 21st.
Yeah.
It was an old elm tree, wasn't it?
I think so. I didn't.
Oh, willow. Split trunks, that.
I took out the two that were leaning towards the road,
Yeah,
left the other one, it was kinda in the fence, so
it's
it
way better
shouldn't
than
be
it
a
was.
problem to us.
Yeah. I figured some of that north wind might have wound up laying in the road ditch. I didn't like that spear that was sticking down.
Does Wade have to sign this?
I don't think he does.
No. Alright, thank you. Do you copy this or anything?
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
Tell me to do it or you?
You wanna wait till he
Yeah.
signs that, and then I'll get you a copy back?
Perfect, thank you.
Other question I got, you guys mow Jacob Street, not Jacob Street, Atumwa? Come down the Blacktop, Nebraska Road east, where it curves and goes south.
Yeah,
Do you mow that dead end road?
we do occasionally.
Do occasionally? Okay. It's not signed minimum maintenance, is it?
No. There's some discussion there if that's an open road. It's open for a portion. I know I've been contacted by Eugene Golf, on what's open there, how far. So we're looking into some of that. Be the farthest north street going east.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, I mean, we've been approached about what's open there exactly, so.
I just didn't think you guys mowed it, but I guess you have.
Yeah, there's that street, and then there's another one that goes back west, like the next block south and back
Yeah,
west.
yeah.
So,
It's not my area, I've just had questions asked to me about it,
yeah.
issues down that road. Other than that,
All right.
thank you.
Well,
Thank you,
appreciate it.
Jonathan.
You guys have a good week.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan.
How you doing, Adam?
Good. See you guys.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
I think we'll just probably wind up recessing to go to the law enforcement.
They'll come back after.
We'll probably, probably have to come back and adjourn. I mean, we're all gonna be together, so
Yeah.
I don't think we should adjourn. Well, yeah, I mean, we are out discussing the county jail, so, or talking about it, so I think recessing would be probably the best thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it might be a weighing question.
If they're doing the talking and all five of us there,
Yeah.
we need to be in session. Or that's my thought.
Well, and we might not even recess, we might just leave to go to the jail and leave the video playing.
Yeah.
You give somebody a boring 30 minutes, they can fast forward through. That's my idea, anyway.
Right,
You got a mobile camera on your forehead, follow us around.
I'd like to video some stuff for them, but probably wouldn't be appropriate.
It looks like there's about 20 or 30 bastards there. Crest Point gonna be with us next week with their new numbers, or have you talked to them?
I haven't talked to them yet. Last week was a short week for me, so I will touch base with them this week, though, to see.
When is the application deadline for the hospital board?
Well, I think you said, near around the end of this month.
Okay, so we won't act on that till into January sometime, I guess.
Well, the position is at the end of this year, so
Is it? Okay.
probably want to get December 31st.
One of the applicants just asked me when we were gonna make our decision.
And there's three.
I
didn't
would
know
say
how
you
many
should,
we
you should before the end of this month, so that
Okay.
they can start in January.
And there's three out.
3, and then you have 2 on fire.
had. Okay. So do you know how many applicants we've got so far for those positions?
Let's see.
Just roughly.
Are the ones on fire that's coming up, are they?
I think they
wanting to re-up?
reappointed, yeah,
They
or
wanna re-up?
want to reappoint,
Okay.
yeah, and then
They did.
I haven't gotten, I don't think any from the hospital
I
yet.
know Roy was one of them, I know.
Right, Roy and then Bill, I know it's.
Yeah, those
Yeah.
2 have
Right.
reapplied, but I haven't gotten anything, I don't think, from the hospital people.
And if I understood them right, there were 2 of them that were thinking about re-upping.
I haven't
Okay.
heard.
So you don't have any in for the hospital?
We got it.
Because I thought
Yeah.
somebody emailed one maybe.
Did we? Let me check real quick, hold on.
What is happening with I know I was gone that one Monday with the economic development individual.
I have not spoke to Rhonda to see where we're at. Haven't heard.
So well, the plan was that
You come back
the
in.
one applicant was gonna come back in, that I don't know what happened to that plan.
I don't know, I will visit with Ron on my way out today. See what's up.
Okay, we do have one, I guess, that came in, but it's
Mhm.
not one of the board members.
Right,
It was a
right.
Daniel Myers or something.
Yeah.
Danielle Myers.
Wanting to be on the hospital board.
Yeah.
We don't know if, see, Abendroth's coming up, isn't he?
Yeah, he was going in at a prior term, I think.
Right, he hadn't decided if he was gonna,
Haven't gotten anything.
These are all out of this yellow folder here.
We were asking, do we need to adjourn the meeting, do we just cut the meeting off and all five of us are gonna be together?
I think it's a continuation of the meeting, similar to when you went out to the parking.
Just leave the film rolling.
Yep, you're still in session. You're not gonna be, voting on anything, so there's no concern there. You can come back in, and if there's any comments, updates, discussion related to what you saw, it would be heard.
Yeah.
But I think the intent is that you go and you tour it as a board, and then you come back and whatever it is you wanna say, if anything.
Have concerns and address it then when we get back, or comments or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, you may walk through, and as you're walking through and you're talking to Cole or Ryan and say, what is that? I mean, that's not, you're not voting on change orders, you're not changing the overall price, you're touring what the taxpayer money is contributing to.
I'm sorry.
It's including what,
Okay.
he's got.
If there are any specifics, you just come back. But in my opinion, you run the tape so people know how long you were gone, that it's open and transparent. You come back, you're not recessing because you're actively together as a board.
Okay. That's what we wanna do.
And we're all talking among ourselves out there and asking questions. So if we wasn't in session, we couldn't be doing that because it'd be two of us talking.
Right. Very possibly could be,
I mean, it's kind of like riding to a conference together. You could do that, but the optics of it don't look good. It happens. You could go. I conducted a investigation for a complaint years ago where one of the complaints was that several city council members had breakfast together and they were sitting talking. Can you not go eat? Now, if you're talking business and making decisions, then that's a whole other conversation. But if you're just eating and exchanging pleasantries, I'm not sure you live a life too at the same time.
This is still.
Everybody knows what the consequences are if you
Yes.
do something you shouldn't.
That's all that.
This says sign and a date. What was that meant for that?
yeah, I didn't see that tab, so I need to.
I think that employee
Okay.
sign.
Okay, yep.
Andy, you taking a walk through too?
Actually, I have to go get my son's lunch.
Oh.
Because I forgot it today. So I thought he's going to grab his lunch while you're over there.
Hey, go,
You
Mom.
might not be too happy with you.
I did.
Start
He got out of the car and he goes, so what do I tell him, Mom? Do I tell him I'm bringing my lunch today? And I'm like, yes, I'll go get your lunch.
No pressure.
Otherwise, I don't think he gets to eat.
It's not gonna
Can't have what they're eating.
Huh?
Can't have what they're eating.
Well, no, he just does better with his own lunch and he likes taking his own lunch. I just forgot this morning to, kind of ran out of time to.
Got your new Tahoe in, Tom?
We're supposed to be able to get it Friday.
I'm sorry?
Friday.
They were paying $4.30 a day.
Supposed to be Friday.
Good. That's for the rec one.
Yeah. We don't mention that word. Don't use it ever again. Right, we don't use that word.
Should I say scuff? or
Yes,
what?
yes.
They got a good base price on that thing.
Now, sir, we're here in the process of obviously looking for 2025.
Yeah,
Prices aren't going down.
I'm afraid not.
No, they're not. Damn sure not going down.
Well, go to the car dealership and price a Tahoe to buy it outright. You're gonna spend 80 grand for anything that's
Yeah.
Sir, I'm
decent.
telling you, we discussed those bids in today.
Yeah.
I know exactly what it's going to cost.
Yeah.
Do you reckon Cole's ready for us, Wade?
So I don't know. I think my impression is as soon as you get over there, they're ready to give you the safety briefing, make sure you have hard hats and you'll have us and take you on the tour. So,
Can I address a couple things?
Sure.
Okay.
I guess we can go through roundtable. We got time. Go ahead, Angie.
So, with Christmas coming up, you guys usually do chamber buck. Do you want to continue that this year for all employees?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you guys fine with receiving yours too?
I don't want
I don't want one.
Okay, Don?
Oh.
Okay. And then the next thing I have to address is, last week there was a check in the checks and vouchers for University of Kansas Center for Research for Data Services. And I spoke with Garrett Nordstrom with GAS, Governmental Assistance Services. I don't know why I keep wanting to call them GGA, but anyway. There were emails exchanged back and forth between Bobby and them about the bill. Apparently the bill went around the world trying to find the right person to get to. From discussing it with Garrett, he had also received a bill at one point, and apparently it needed to come to us because in order for SSM and or for governmental assistance services to apply for that grant, this was part of the requirement.
Okay.
If that makes sense to you.
Yeah, just.
So they required the study on behalf of the semiconductor program to provide information on tax incentive packages. He said they checked with Wichita State University. They were going to charge $32,000. Baker was going to charge like $25,000, but they wanted to be in control of the workforce development, and they didn't think that was a good idea. So they went with KU, which KU jumped on the opportunity to provide that information, and they only did it for the $16,000. So Garrett said it was legit. It was something we had to do.
You and I spoke about that.
So you guys are familiar? Okay.
You take the two emails that was sent out to us. I didn't read them, but they were pages and pages long, and the print was so small you couldn't read it.
Yeah.
And I'm not critical of you, that's just what's sent out. But, so, my way of thinking, there's no way we could tell that it was a legit bill. But how much grant money did it earn?
I can't tell you. It was just a requirement. Okay, I think the grant that's gone, or the application that's gone on for SSM,
That was for SSM.
that was for
and that
whole application,
that
which
whole
we're still
application.
waiting.
About $20 million.
Right.
We're still waiting to get the money.
About $20 million.
Right.
But I wanted to have that forwarded on to you guys so you could see that there was an actual report, number one, and number two, so that we could have it on file, to put in the SSM folder. But if you'd like for me to print you off a copy, I'll be happy to do that too. I just wanted to get something out to you right away because we were going to discuss it today.
No, your explanation is good.
Well, we'd have the responsibility probably to approve it, but the two emails were so long
I
and
know.
you read that, still wouldn't know what you're talking about half the
Yeah.
time.
My only thing is to make sure that the invoice and the documents that was sent to us, and I don't remember looking at it if it was to Coffee County or if it was to SSM.
To Coffee
It
County.
was to Coffee County?
Yeah.
Okay, that's, so,
And I think that's where the question was, is where it was coming from.
and did we get the information that we wanted?
Right.
And
Well, I
do we
know I
have,
wasn't prepared to sign it here last week, but it sounds like it's our responsibility.
Yeah.
Thanks, Andy.
Well, since-
Appreciate the clarification, that's
Yeah.
fine.
So we'll go ahead and mail this check then?
Great.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, Andy, for digging into it.
Yep.
I figured you called Gary, he'd give you an explanation.
Yeah. Well, and he wanted to make sure we had a copy of it too. We thought, as we spoke, we thought maybe Bobby had gotten a copy, which could be on his computer, I don't know, but Garrett said, I'll be happy to send it over to you.
Right.
So we'll have a copy too, so, or be sure to have a copy. And I sent an email out to all department heads requesting year-end transfer potential, if there are any. So I'll be looking at those numbers over the next several weeks to see if there's any recommendations for you guys to transfer to reserve, so. And that's all I have.
Wade, do you have any roundtable?
The conversation you had with Garrett, that's specific to the CBDG grant tied to the SSF.
Yes.
Roadway.
That I'm not sure.
No, not the
This
roadway.
is
I think
just
it- I thought it was
the impact of the plant going in at the airport.
Gotcha.
So how would we come in on deciding what to do about building the rest of that road?
I think they're gonna wait until February or March, if I remember right, because they're not gonna send out for the second bid until then, or maybe.
The way I understood, Sabian was they were gonna extend the low bidder's contract, cover that, because he came in so much lower than everybody else. They were just gonna extend his contract.
That's what I wondered, if that's what we were gonna do, or.
I don't remember that part, but
That's the way I understood it.
My understanding was there was gonna be a second bid for the second phase.
to utilize the amount of money that
Right. And
I'd
that
have to go back and look for that.
additional funding, whatever,
1.1, 1.2.
right, but whatever was under the 750, I don't remember what the bid from Kilo was.
5 something.
Yeah, so that the remainder could be applied towards phase 2.
Correct.
And then the county would cover whatever the difference was
Yeah.
up to. So that was what,
I was talking to Sabian, I don't know why I want to be fairly certain that, I am fairly certain that he was gonna speak with the contractor that was low and see if they could extend their contract and use that 200-some thousand as part of extending their contract.
I'd have to.
Cause
I'd have to go
their
back.
bid was aggressive.
I heard that somewhere, and I can't remember who I heard it from, but
I think that's right, Tom.
Cook Flat, Sabian.
Yep, no, I remember both he and Garrett were here. Maybe I misunderstood.
He was gonna negotiate with them, and probably wouldn't, he said they weren't gonna get in a hurry to do so, as the project probably wouldn't start till spring anyway, and yada, yada, yada. So, I'll double check with him.
Maybe that's where the spring comes from.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I mean, it was all right here.
Yeah, I spoke to the low bidder as well too, right after that meeting, and told him what Sabian was proposing. So, have not, as far as it went.
Wait, I'll forward that, study onto YouTube, so you'll have a copy from Katie and Garrett.
who did we meet with? Who did we visit with about the CID at Beto? Was that Sabian, or was that Joe Serrano?
That was all Joe, wasn't it?
Okay. Has anything working in that aspect? Cause I mentioned I'd get some numbers.
You're talking about the CID and improvements that
Yes,
need to be made.
yes.
Yeah,
Or-
no,
parking lot.
Joe Serrano.
Okay.
And just for, transparency purposes, the Beto Junction CID that was put in place in,
2 years ago.
2 years ago, that's bringing in, it has a 2-cent sales tax that's added to, that CID area, that 2-cent sales tax then goes into a CID fund that has to be reused and allocated to improve that district, or that CID area. So there's a geographic boundary that covers around PA going around, and I don't wanna say exactly what it is, because I know what it looks like. It's on file with the registry of deeds.
It's on the west side too, isn't it?
Yeah, it covers that whole area. So it's somewhat of a transient sales tax that those who stop and do business in that area, they pay a little bit extra. It goes into a fund to help improve that district. Is the quick summary.
October numbers, we're sitting at 201,000 in there.
Yep, so it has to be used to improve that district in this next calendar year. That's gonna be something the board will need to take into consideration, what tangible improvements need to be made, or can be made to that particular area to improve that district. And you can be creative, but if you don't do it, then you lose your CID area. And right now, I think if I remember right, it continues on for 22 years or something to that effect.
But we have a time limit of when we have to spend it.
Make some improvements.
Yep, you have to make tangible improvements. And
Within 5 years.
But there's a deadline.
Okay.
There's a deadline on it.
Yep.
Yeah.
For some reason, I got within 5 years, I thought, but.
I do know the bottom lot of TA, I mean, TA is the biggest contributor to this account because of the sales tax. But I do know that lower parking lot takes quite a little bit of gravel for truck parking over the years' time. And I just kind of ran some rough numbers. You'd be looking at about 35 grand for 2,000 ton of rock thrown in there. And I don't know how many square feet that'd make or what that'd clear up. But I don't know who you'd have to hire somebody to go in there and do it too.
And that bottom parking lot is so rough sometimes.
Yeah.
Holy
Yeah,
smoke.
it gets in bad
It
shape.
gets in bad
You know how
shape.
you fix that, right? Concrete.
I know.
Okay.
And I don't know if a person could move that material in there and give it to the
That would go
TA,
on.
and they could use it whenever they need it to, instead of going in and trying to tell them that we're gonna put this down here in your bottom parking lot, because they might say, you ain't done nothing on our property.
I don't know who to send that way, but my thinking out there was taking a look at their sewer system, seeing what kind of shape it's in right now.
You don't wanna look at their sewer system.
That's what I mean.
I think talking with, starting initially making contact with whoever the managers are there, and at the end of the day, you're gonna need to get attorneys involved and some sort of agreement, but it's the county's role of responsibility to improve that district, so it's the county's agreement, and the county sort of carries with it the purse strings to supply the improvement. So, but I think it needs to be coordinated with those entities, and I don't know if you just want, I mean, my recommendation would be to talk to multiple parties up there, just not the two gas stations.
Go for it.
Because there are several others that are a part of that district, so one entity might need, one thing we talked about, the cleanup up there, is something that's been mentioned in the past. We talked about Commissioner Cleanup Day, but this could be a tangible improvement to improve the curb appeal of that area. This would be considered a tangible improvement depending on what.
So it wouldn't necessarily, excuse me, go ahead.
Nope,
Wouldn't necessarily have to be divided according to that business's contribution, would it? I mean, it could be any different. I mean, I think, like you're saying, it'd be nice to, the one on the west side road could definitely use the same thing. Maybe there's something else they could use, the hotel there, I mean, I don't know who all's included there, but,
I think it's identifying needs for that particular CID district
Okay.
with the understanding that these CID funds will continue, not, I wouldn't say in perpetuity, but for a period of time, and continuing on with the improvements in that district is what that funding mechanism is for, and it's based on the majority of it is people traveling and stopping in Coffee County and purchasing and consuming goods purchased.
So that decision is up to us to decide what it gets spent on.
Yes.
If they're agreeable with it, if they want it, what we propose, or ask them what they think is needed, or.
I mean, as a community, as members of the community, and I think to maintain solid relationships with those entities, having them maybe be a part of that conversation, but I think at the end of the day, this board gets to make the decision.
Okay.
And I'd encourage when that time comes and you're having a little more thought into what's going to happen, that you bring Joe Serrano on board, because Joe Serrano has been a part of multiple CIDs all across the state. I mean, that's his subject matter expertise area, and he might have some creative ideas in what he's seen in different areas to maybe throw out, and then to make it happen so it follows along with what the original agreement says. I think he needs to be a part of that conversation as well.
You mentioned a while ago, I think you're probably relating to that, business on the east side, pardon me, the business on the west side to the south. 3 years ago, they agreed to put everything behind a solid fence. And they put a fence in part of it, and they got containers on the rest of it, but they still got 8 or 10 different vehicles out in front towards the highway that doesn't provide a good-looking business. And they agreed to put all that behind the fence. We signed a 1-year extension. We're into the second year of that extension, maybe in the third year, but I don't know whether CID money could be used to help that business get that stuff behind where everything would be more attractive to the county, because that is the entry into our county. But I think that needs to be, and we've talked to Heidi on it 3 or 4 times, and with all due respect, to me, we got to get that side cleaned up.
And those are all things to jot down and have as ideas moving forward that can be a part of the discussion for that CID area, because I think creativity and what you would consider, or what somebody would consider as a tangible improvement is, I think that's pretty wide open. There are solid examples, and there are things that it has to follow in line with what the agreement says and what the statute says, but I do know the wording tangible improvements within that district is terminology that's used. So what everyone in this room could say is a tangible improvement could be something different, and I think as long as it would withstand a reasonable interpretation of a tangible improvement, you're wide open.
Okay.
But we would have conversation with those folks that were involved. I mean, that would be.
I think that would
Yeah.
be the right thing to do.
No, I do too. So on the monies, it's got to be spent within 5 years, Tom, is that the way you
For
understand?
some reason, that sticks in my head, I could be wrong on that.
No, I was just, because I didn't know if you could
You don't,
earmark
you have
it.
to pay it all back.
Right. I didn't know if it could be earmarked for a specific project and then,
Right.
I didn't,
Yeah.
I don't remember that time frame.
I don't, that may be confusing, it's something different. I think the tangible improvement has to be made, I believe it's by the end of '25, at least the initial,
Okay.
the initial improvement. So,
by the end of '25.
right, so I think, somewhere in that, and I'd have to pull it out and get you the specific language, you kind of caught me off guard, but I do know the end of 25 is something, and I think the more important thing is if it's not done, then you may have to dissolve the CID. So it's money that's a benefit to that district, it's a benefit to the taxpayers of Coffee County in that that area that it gets high visibility for the county. I mean, it's the archway into the rest of Coffee County, at least in that part of the county.
Yeah.
And that district was created to benefit that area for the residents of Coffee County as well.
We wouldn't want to wait down to the deadline to start working with TA, because I have a fuel account with them and dealing, I mean, nothing against, they're just a corporation and they're slow to work with, they're hard to communicate
It took
with.
2 years, it took 2 years to get the CID, get them to sign the CID.
Yeah,
And if
yeah,
we have to have something
that's my
done,
point.
and if we have to have something done by the end of 25.
Yeah, I
Be
just,
moving.
At least we're in negotiations.
yeah, I'm not finding fault with them, but that's just how it is.
We don't
It's
even
like
wanna think about losing that
slow
CID.
getting anything
We've
done.
got that in place. We
Yeah.
need to take every step there is to keep it.
I would suggest, once January rolls around, invite Joe Serrano, and then start having a discussion about brainstorming and coming up with some potential ideas, and then from there, seeing what the next steps are, and what it would look like to make them happen. It may require bringing on engineers, it may, I don't know, or it may be something as simple as getting quotes from somebody. You're talking about the
Fence.
the fence, what it would take, get a quote for a fence, and see if that business would be on board with that improvement. But
Time you get engineers involved, it's just gonna cost a hell of a lot more money.
It is, and we can keep the engineers out.
They put containers in place for most of it, the fence.
Yeah, it doesn't work very good.
those are my thoughts.
Go. Steve, any roundtable?
Not today.
Dawn,
I'm fine. Jesse?
Wade,
No, sir.
Tom,
No, we've already talked about mine.
I'm good.
So the only thing that I'll have, and I'll probably have to wait until next week, and I don't think it's gonna hurt anything right now, is the roof of the Maribel's building. It's not an emergency until it is, and it's an emergency when you have, especially rain or snow, then it becomes an emergency. So right now, because it's dry, it's not as, I mean, it's imminent, but it's not as imminent as it would be if we looked outside and we saw rain free falling out of the sky.
I thought you said we were waiting on one more bid.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I will, no matter what, have it brought up next week and potentially be asking for a decision to be made regarding getting the roof of that building addressed.
Okay.
Well, if nobody else, you done? You got
I
all
don't have
your
anything else.
roundtable? You got any more roundtable, Wade?
Not for today.
I guess we'll go tour the law enforcement center.
Then we'll come back.
Then we'll
and
come back,
adjourn.
then we'll come back and,
Need to recess and.
well, I don't think we'll recess, we're gonna keep everything rolling.
Yep. Leave the tape running and then come back and talk about it. And Cole said he's waiting for you guys, so.
He wait for us.
Bated breath.
He paid to wait for us, you.
Good. You going to tour?
Congratulations. He's going on.
Hey, you're a hard ass.
I'm just an actor.
Excuse me.
What are they gonna do, take my birthday away from me? Fireman?
You guys are twinning today. Yeah. Both wearing your red plaid shirt. Yeah.
So I understand you haven't hired your new economic developer yet?
Not yet. Not yet. Them things are pretty good, painful.
Check my blood sugar, is it going down, so I'm gonna.
High or low, or you just be eating candy, not? I don't know.
Just ask the commissioner, right? Yeah. Good.
So it's gonna fertilizer or something to deal with. So I think you guys are in good hands. You'll be shocked when you go in there and look at it.
Going that way?
I was just walking out there in the cold, and the longer I That's like, I'm out there, it catered up me. This was truck, anyway, we all have to take care. All one thing. Hey, there's one there. There you go. Okay, now these are. Make a mistake. It goes away. No.
Wait for my card, you have to know. Oh, yeah, so maybe it's not. We'll just go all the way down there. Maybe it's not. Yeah, okay, we'll go. This down. Have you take the elevator? I'm gonna have you take the elevator when your radio down. Well, we just have a little to-do going on here, and so I'm just trying to keep it, little less people.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
I'll wait for my wife. Yeah.
I think you can, it seems to be good now.
Pretty good, how you doing?
All right.
I know. Let me ping it. What button do I use to ping it? Oh my God.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
You bet.
Well, everybody else went to the walkthrough. I tried. My legs just won't let me. My legs wouldn't let me.
Oh, okay.
They got cold, and I could feel something coming on.
Ooh,
I got in the lobby, and
that was it.
that was it. I guess when we're gonna adjourn when they get back, I just made a statement, I'm gonna leave, I guess.
Okay, I'll put that you left at 11:09?
Yep,
Okay.
thank you.
Uh-huh. Is it a little cold out there, Don?
No, I'm awake.
Oh, you need help? You want me to get you on the elevator?
Yeah, I'll get over. Too much standing, when I'm standing, that's when my legs get.
Yeah. Are they getting close to done yet?
They're still on the first floor.
Oh, my.
It's, I tell you what, that's a maze over there.
Yeah.
Have you been in it?
No, I haven't.
You'd be shocked at the maze that there is.
I'm sure.
I don't know how they can get done. More than that, 5, 6 months. Yeah, Tommy, he got halfway over, and he turned around, came back, and went home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when he's doing the talking, telling everybody what's this and that, when I'm standing, my legs ain't good. I've had 4 or 5 episodes, but so far I've never gone completely down.
Yeah.
It'll work out. way up to there. Okay. I think you said, yeah, you said 4%, I'm getting that. So, well, I appreciate that. So, it'll be corn next year, so. That's how I think. You know, we're still, just got a break, but, it's like, we're break like it's like hell.
How are you doing?
I'm pretty good, sir. We had it
I'm going to lunch. I'm here.
right there.
Yeah. How's the neck been?
The last 2 or 3 days have been pretty good, but they're been there too, pretty good. I'm going back in January 20th, and they're gonna, they said they're going down into the spine for the middle of the back. It's a little bit different than what they did the first time.
Okay.
They'll, hopefully, find out what's going on.
That's the day pretty well covered under medicine. Right here.
It should be, yeah.
Well, you don't cover it through the gym. Yeah. Good.
I'll be covered.
Yeah, good.
We're meeting with an insurance representative tomorrow morning, and he was with us once before, and that's what he does, insurance. He's talking about the shield, Humana.
Hi, Jim. I did not do it for you. I just saw you out of the corner of my eye and didn't.
Humana and Aetna.
Okay.
Those are the three, and I talked to my brother Arlen, and his income was Aetna, and the other one was Humana.
Yeah.
Different program for everybody.
Depends on what you need, yeah, yeah. All right, well, I've been thinking about you, wondering how you're doing.
I'll get there.
Okay. All right, take care. Bye-bye. Anyway.
never learn. Won't be long,
What are you up to, Barry?
Take a guess. Oh, we're doing great.
Yeah. And I'm like, you're paying for this in the box. Yeah, I don't understand that box. How big is it? 0.25 fluid ounces, so it's like that.
I don't know. Yeah, they'd be small, because I have, traffic size, small. $65, I can use that box that they're in, and I don't like that. So. Hey, there you go. Okay. Everybody will never know. Well, I guess you could ask them. I didn't know what she was talking about. Yeah. Really strong. Right. And after I got it.
Dax.
Pardon?
Got enough to go around for
No, I'm in the red now.
You got a red hat on.
So there you go. Bless you.
Sorry? Yeah, I think so. chilly in there.
Yeah. I couldn't keep my legs from underneath.
Yeah. Will be ever since, sorry.
What a building, did it?
Yeah, they made a lot of progress in the last 3 weeks.
I'm for you.
Got on good homework.
Survive?
Don't feel like
No.
the heat doesn't arrive until Wednesday. It's chilly in there. Is he good to go home?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I'm chilled in here, so I can't even imagine what it was like out there.
It was frosty.
I think we're gonna add some heat in there eventually, sounds like. That's
Might be a good
one fault
idea.
we've got at this point, but pretty impressive.
It's big. I already got my room picked out. So.
One of those big pods, huh?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Tom recruited some help there. He kept talking to McCurry about what he was gonna do, and the place opened up.
And we're gonna stencil his name on one of the ad sales.
Well, you could each have one named after you.
Where you going today? You're going to Steve's cell. No one wants to know what it is.
Now you could just name one Steve.
Code word, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Steve, Wade, John.
Yep, that's right.
What you probably see, you may be arrested staying. 3 meals a day.
Yep.
Yup. A lot of work going on in there. I'd hate to guess how many miles of pipe's in there. Oh my gosh.
Lots of things happening. I didn't see anybody
And
standing
wire
around.
post.
Yeah,
Just
pipe
wire.
and wire would be astronomical. You know how many miles is in
I'm sure they can tell you if you ask. I'm not kidding you, Ryan called. I couldn't have picked a better team to come in there. They are good to us, and
there. Good job.
they have never ever said, we don't know. They may say, give me 10 minutes to find out, and they'll find out.
And they're just good guys.
Oh, yeah, good guys.
So, we've been fortunate enough to get subcontractors and stuff that looks like it's all working together.
Oh,
Yeah.
there's, like I said, there is nobody that, you know, I would think about coming here and saying, we don't want them back. I mean, I would have any of them back to do any work whatsoever.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not kidding you, there's been some things that, of course, the normal layperson that doesn't do contract, that doesn't do building. Ryan and Cole are good about, hey, we caught something here, and by God, you come back and fix it and make it right, we aren't having this quality of work here.
Yeah.
And they come back and fix it. I mean, those guys are working for Coffee County. We said that from day one. But those guys have caught several things over the past year that, if we didn't have, could have had a problem. They're good at what they do.
And I'll just help you ask if there are any questions. Back on the federal side versus the, you said that the federal prisoners couldn't commingle with,
That's correct. With state prisoners, that's right.
and why is that? I mean,
It's just federal law that
Oh.
you can't, it's just like you can't put a juvenile into a jail.
oh, okay.
They gotta have sight and sound barrier, you know.
Okay.
Some of those, you know, people could be post-sentence. They wouldn't be. They could, but I don't think I'm gonna take post-sentence.
Right.
So they're all pre-arrestees. So other than that, all my people are pre-arrestees except one. You know, I had a gentleman that was sentenced to 9 months here in jail.
Right.
Was spent here. Other than that, you can't put that single person in a cell with pre-sentence.
Oh, yeah.
So I would have had to put him in a solitary cell, you know, one of the ones down there by the med room or in the booking. You know, who'd want to stay 9 months in a damn solitary cell?
Yeah.
That would be bad, you know.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that's the law. I can't commingle the two.
Kind of.
Hello, Eric.
So add cell A1, I guess it's F1, isn't it? The bed cells are,
HD one and HD two?
no, that's, I'm talking about the med cells. I mean, not,
Okay.
I'm sorry, mental health cell.
So
Mental
it
health
has to
cells
be
are four.
alpha,
Yeah,
A.
alpha A, alpha 1 and 2, 3, 4.
Mhm.
The bottom right-hand side, we're gonna put Steve cell.
Oh, okay.
That's,
Well, these things are filling up.
yeah.
Well, he just says naming rights.
Yeah.
At least I've got a room.
You've got a room with us, buddy, all the time.
And so far by yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, you'll have company.
They'll do that just out of spite.
Yeah. No, we're very pleased.
No. And you know, you look at all the security to that, and then you go through the existing jail that we have, and you're just like,
Yeah, we won't talk about that.
yeah, you can't even show me just how fortunate you really are.
What I tell you 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and what I tell the taxpayers when I went to all those meetings, folks were waiting on an accident to happen. And just telling you, that this has got to be done.
Yeah.
So, yep. You won't imagine, well, you'll wait another 3 months, you know, before you take a tour, 2 months, whatever.
Mhm.
When those security features go in, those locks on those doors, and like I said, control room by about March or April will have total control. They'll have all that done.
Mhm.
Because that's one of the first things they're gonna do is finish the second floor and have all the jail done. Because they're starting training back there in March. Once you see, and you will walk you down, and you can go in the control room, and you can see the control, it's the true word, and you see how much control that person has over that entire building, and your access in and out of a single door is unbelievable, how much control there is, security there is.
Anybody got anything else?
It's Eric's birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Appreciate that.
We're all getting older, unfortunately.
Beats the alternative.
It's good or bad?
Yeah.
It's good,
Yep.
so far.
If you guys are sitting around this afternoon and think of a question, you know where I'm at. Call me, text me, email me.
Be
come on
home taking a nap, right?
by. I'm gonna eat here something a little bit, then I may feel like taking a nap.
Yeah.
When
I
I
was
came,
up all night last night.
when I came back over, I didn't think about it, but the safety and a hard hat's right outside the door here.
Okay.
We can get back over.
Nobody else got anything? We'll get out of here, we'll adjourn at 12:10. Stay warm.
Yep. Come Wednesday, they'll be